Hello.
Hey, hi Ryan.
Hi, Sook-Yin. How are you?
I'm very excited. Hello, everyone. There's Emma.
Hello.
Hey. Adrian is sending the questions to Ryan and I.
Okay, I guess we'll pop off. Have a good time, everyone.
So yeah, thank you for joining us. And this is very, very exciting. It's so unusual that I'm speaking with you out there and I'm in here.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the space you're in right now?
Yeah, so this space is Adam's library. Those are all of Adam's books. And he spent a lot of time in this space, a place for him where he could think and write. I call it the brain central, in the basement of wonders. We're celebrating our album. I feel so glad to be able to be in the space that he inhabited, that I feel that he is maybe tuning in on some kind of frequency here with us tonight.
The room's also heavily featured in your new movie, Death and Sickness, which is streaming on CBC Gem right now. Given the significance of the space, how has it been spending so much time in it over the last year of lockdowns?
It has a history of all kinds of people who have been here. My home is from the 1800s. On the door, somebody stamped all over. Let's see, what did it say? It says Luke Gibson rocks. One day we tried to track down Luke Gibson and we couldn't find him, but we found his bandmate, and Luke Gibson was in
Mike McKenna.
Mike McKenna.
Of Luke and the Apostles.
Of Luke and the Apostles from like 1960s.
They were almost really big.
They were almost really big. And somehow, and I'm not sure if this was their practice space back in the 60s, but possibly. And then also Chester Brown, the cartoonist, used to sleep over in that area. And then Adam, and then Dylan spends time here as well. It's very focused in here. There's very little distraction, very conducive to thinking, reading, to space and time on your own. We have a question here. Should we take that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It says, question from Leslie. Did you and Adam have any rituals, routines, or habits when you worked on creative projects together? Did you continue any of them by yourself in honor of his memory? We had so many things that we would do. We oftentimes walked and held hands and sang. Anywhere was a potentiality for playing. So for example, upstairs in the bathtub, you know how you have like a curtain that goes across the bathtub? Well, sometimes we'd do like bathroom theater where he'd just like whoosh, like Masterpiece Theater in the bathroom. And then he'd be behind there and open the curtain. It would be fabulous. And he would come singing out. I try to keep that spirit. And there's only a few people that I can't just spontaneously start singing with. When I do that with other people, I feel like Adam is with me as well. It's a very strange thing. He is not here in a corporeal sense, but I feel him inside of me. And even today, I was like, walked around the house and sang and prepped the space ready for him.
It's really nice. Yeah, and you were talking about how those are all his books.
Yeah, we have poetical works. We have Orlando, Virginia Woolf, Philip K. Dick, Eugene O'Neill. We have Vertigo.
There's a question from Carly. Did you have a favorite book together?
Thing is, Adam was the big reader. Very much born of the word. His mom, Malka Lidovitz. Actually, if you could bring up the photo of The View of the Other Side of the Room, all of those boxes contain the literary work of Malka Lidovitz. That's Adam's mom, and she has also passed. So he was mostly the guy of words.
Oh, we have another question. And are there any particular kinds of music that inspired your art?
We called the kind of sound of our music dirt and bone. Very rudimentary, found sounds. Like I have a long history of just finding things on the street, putting it up against my mouth, playing it, and then mixing those in with electronics, technology, and organic material. he was extremely moved by music. He really felt that music healed him. Adam suffered from a condition called ulcerative colitis with his digestive tract and his colon. And he swears that there was a particular piece of music that healed him. I'm going to try to find that. Sďwməthkվəy, Ocean of Remembrance, is a very beautiful, beautiful album. And that one in particular has healing properties. Also, we love to sing the Green Tara mantra together. And Emma, if you could bring up that other photo, it's of this wall over here, the words of the Green Tara mantra, and that's an ancient Tibetan Buddhist chant. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Means wellness for all beings, a liberation from pain and suffering. We would go into parkades, in stairwells, places where our voices could reverberate, and we would sing that together. And it's like, Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha.
We have a question from Exit to Red. How do Mint Records find such eclectic artists to work with, especially during lockdown and no live music? Well, I mean, I guess this would be a good time to talk about your Vancouver roots. You did some records with Zulu Records back in the day, and Randy Iwata, who is Mint Records founder, worked at Zulu Records around the same time. And you must have met Randy back in the day at shows and everything. Can you tell us more about what it was like in Vancouver back then?
Well, I grew up in Vancouver, left home when I was 15, and very quickly was adopted by freaks from East Van. My extended family was a queer community who embraced me and taught me so much. Also, so many artists, musicians, poets, dancers, all kind of cohabitating and making stuff happen together. So I feel very blessed to have been raised in Vancouver during that time. It really was a huge part of my worldview and what I value in art. And Mint's forte was they found these incredible pop artists, people like New Pornographers, Nico Case, Cub, strong and playful bands. Randy continued it through the decades, through every subsequent generation of Canadian indie musician, passing the torch from one to the next. And then the pandemic happened, and it was just like, wow, everything flatlined. And I was thinking to myself, who can put this album out? Because I knew that it was very, very important to put it out, but I needed to find a home. And I immediately thought of Randy and Mint. And I do believe I just sent you a message through Instagram, and you're just like, hey, Ryan, you were so nice. You were just right away, just like, oh, hey, so excited. And this is when everyone, was just like, okay, the jig's up, we're locked down, nothing's doing, and there you were, a spark of energy. And then I emailed Randy, and then Randy was so nice. He's like, Sook-Yin, do you know how happy your email made me feel? And I was just like, oh my God, this is absolutely wonderful. And it was pretty quick how we all just came together and went, let's do this.
Yeah, it all came together very quickly. Oh, can you tell us more about your songwriting process with Adam?
In this particular album with Juge Chu, he would come up with something. He would send me kind of like a fragment of something that he had made. He'd be like, listen to this. And he'd be like, oh my God. I did all the engineering for albums, and he'd send me that stuff. And then when I had enough kind of sonic material that I could sort of bounce off of, and then I would sing over it, come up with a kind of melody, and then improvise words off the top of my head. And sometimes sounds. I've been doing this since I was a child. It'd be like, and then I'd pass it to Adam. He would listen very intently and literally transcribe what he was hearing. And sometimes it was what I had said. And other times through his incredible filter, he would hear other words. And I would take those words, very poetic and odd words, and then craft them, sort of use my editor poet brain and sort of shape them in form, and then I'd throw them back to him, and then he would do the same, and then we'd pass it back and forth together until we were happy with what we had. Adam was very, very quick, and he'd go, okay, I'm going upstairs, and then he'd boom, go upstairs, and be like, whoa. And then he'd be like back down in like 15 minutes, and he'd go bing, like, oh my God. You know, I'll be plugged into my computer for like 14 hours, not eating, and just go at the end of the day, like, oh my God, I'm just like a head. He's very, very spontaneous. His drawings, he has an Instagram account, Adam Litovitz, ADAMLITOVITZ on his Instagram. In the last year, he really started to love drawing. These drawings are so extraordinary. They're very open, unencumbered, wise, and playful, and fun and beautiful. And I said to Adam, okay, so these are great drawings. I'm like, how long would it take you? And he's like, 15 minutes. He was Mr. 15 minutes guy. So a very, very, very spontaneous and very incisive mind. And so this kind of style that we had been doing on Juge 2, so much of what we did bubbled up from the unconsciousness. He had been honing his ability to overhear in the last few years. He loved to sit in cafes and just kind of listen to the noise around him. When people say things in dialogue, we're not really actually hearing what we're saying, but Adam would be there to catch them, catch these wonderful combinations of words, and then he would write them down. He applied that incredible sense of like listening to this album. I wanted to read some of Adam's work for you. So there's a particular group of overheards that he had been compiling, and I wanted to read you a few. I've been looking better since I've been eating in the wind. I don't understand why people have leaf blowers. Why don't they have leaf suckers? If you want to stay in power, you have to kill people every day. Nice to meet you. How long are you in town? What do you think of big lamps? I think they're really big. I wonder if the Trojan horse actually happened. Don't mess with the woman with decorative sticks. I tried to hit one guy in Toronto with a banana. I hit another guy. In a few minutes, we may have a day. They're like ABBA, but funny. I'll send you some of these sexy photos and be like, TBT to summer. What's your methodology? Now you know what green beans are. I'll just blow my nose on Rob. My pleasure, my pleasure. One question would be, what is the Wi-Fi password? My pleasure. The CRA is saying, yo, you owe 46 grand in taxes, dog. How do we get good at fries and go over the border? If I get in a band with you, I'm the boss. So those are just some of the overheards that Adam had overheard.
Oh, those are amazing. I love them.
I know, so good.
Well, there's a few more questions. One's from RRCCC. Do you have any advice for other creatives feeling stuck or blocked with their own self-expression or creative process during this strenuous time? Anything special that just recharges you?
Sometimes you just can't push it, you know. I say don't sweat it if you're not making stuff. You don't have to make it stuff all the time. So don't worry, it's going to come out. It's just like, you know, you may feel constipated, but it will come out. Sorry.
That's a good way to put it. I feel like, yeah, when you are creatively constipated, it feels awful, but it comes out eventually.
It does. It just does. We're united by our a-holes. What things I like to do is, I don't know, I really love dancing so very much. It's one of those things that is very liberating. And I think also with your voice, there's something profoundly beautiful about using your body. It's so wonderful to have a body. And there's something about the liberty of dancing and singing, and try to dispel any kind of feeling of I have to be good. Fuck good. Sorry. Don't think about good. You can make any kind of sound you want. You can make any movement you want. You can make anything happen. You can all do this, all this stuff. And it's just about shaking it out and playing. You can begin starting in solitude and play and have fun and make sounds and try not to judge and try not to be good, try to be bad. That's what I would say to start.
We have another question from Carly about what program you were using to create the album.
Well, this may be interesting to you. Adam and I, we weren't virtuosic. We weren't gear freaks. We would take what we had and push it to the mostest of our ability. And so the entire movie, Death and Sickness, was made with iMovie, and the entire album was made on GarageBand. So that's it. Steve Chawley, who mixed the album, he lives in Southern Ontario, and I would send him the stems. And he has a facility. I've never been to his studio. I have a relationship online with Steve, and he's one of my best buds. I would send him rough mixes, the stems, and he would add his bells and whistles. Steve does not use GarageBand, but he really ran with the material that I sent him and applied all of the great stuff. We have the means at our disposal to make extraordinary music. I think it's so great to be able to explore the capacity of your tools.
Yeah, for sure. We got a question from Leslie Kenchu. Juge 2's cover art emphasizes Adam's physical absence. Are there any clues or references that signify his cultural or his spiritual presence? An object, a color, the fonts, the location?
Well, the photo on the cover is me in a tree protection zone. Quite a startling vista of seeing trees contained by kind of rudimentary plywood walls. But that cover, even though there's an absence, there's a separation. And when I look at that image, and why I love that image, was Adam's is a tree. And though we are separated by this strange little plywood wall, we are together. And he is there, always above and growing. The back cover is a beautiful drawing by Adam. These two fingers are touching, sort of like the chapel roof, with a little less cultural baggage. Connection. The third, the insert photo was taken by my sister Deanna. Adam and I were just sitting and talking to one another, and Deanna snapped that photo. And that's very much a reflection of Adam and I, engaged with one another, completely in sync. Adam was a complicated person. He referred to the Trojan horse in one of those overheards, and that was Adam. On one level, a very open spirit, very playful, buoyant, and then another part of him that was incredibly cerebral. Thus, all of these books. I put together a Facebook page called Selected Works of Adam Litovitz. He had just a remarkable brain, and he loved the sort of paradoxical nature of existence. He never tried to prescribe or enforce any kind of meaning. He was always just delighted about ideas. You know, you would uncover one petal, open another petal, and find a universe down inside beneath that. And yet he somehow had the ability to use the words and very precisely describe the journey of moving inward and inward and inward. Uncanny ability of thought. A person who offered his presence generously, and you felt good around him. And you can sort of get a glimpse of that in his drawings and his songs and in the essays on the selected works of Adam Litovitz. And then in Juge too.
Yeah, all the lyrics are on the album Bandcamp, so you can click through the songs and find the lyrics there. Adrian just posted the link to the Bandcamp, so you can check out the lyrics there after this is over. We have maybe time for another question from Exit to Red. Will Sook-Yin ever act or direct? Ever again act or direct? Also, you'd be great in a musical.
No, he's a
will I ever act or direct again? Well, funny you should say so. Yeah, I have. I'm working on a live action adaptation of Chester Brown's graphic novel, Paying for It. I have producers. We've been developing that for a few years. It's now very good on the page, and they're going out to try to find money to get financing. And also recently, so Dylan, I don't think actually you've seen, Dylan hasn't, so this is Dylan.
Hey, I'm playing Andy Richter over here. Quiet Andy Richter.
Yeah, the whole time he's like,
tell more jokes. Speed it up.
He's like,
we got a show.
So Dylan and I decided to lock down together to make a movie. It was called Death and Sickness. It was very much an autofiction work of autofiction derived from our lives and then the intense world upheaval. And it was also funny and difficult. And we just for a heck of it thought, oh, well, why don't we make another one? And so so it looks like we're locked down again.
Yeah, we're gonna make another one because we're still in the house. And that's my promo. So stay tuned for like a year or from now, probably.
That's great.
So it's going to be an experimental comedy that we know.
Also, a side note, every time I made a piece of music, she was like, it's too horrifying. I was like, this is pretty, right? And be like, just like, no, it's too scary.
Yeah, so he's the genre guy. He's like, he played me some music today. He was like, oh, take a listen to that. He's like,
it should be like The Shining.
So yeah, so we're gonna make something kind of like Shining, only funny. Next, don't quite know what it is, but we have a year to make it. Okay, so let's see. This is a serious one, and it says, warning. Question about Adam's death. I don't mean the cause of death, which I know, but his mental health. Adam seems a man who had such a lust for life and so much to live for. It's cool if that's not up for discussion, though. I think that's really important to talk about mental health, death, sickness. All of us are feeling it. This lockdown is really hard. We've been isolated. Some of us have lost our health, lost our loved ones, lost our livelihoods, losing our cities. You know, I step outside and I'm like, entire city blocks are gone. And instead there are these huge high rises. Many of our favorite places are gone. Much is in flux right now. And, you know, all of us are contending with these difficult emotional states. I would say that, you know, Adam was, when he entered his 30s, like so many people, really was wondering exactly where he wanted to put his energy, wondering how he was going to make money. Being a millennial is not an enviable situation right now. I know so many people, Dylan and I talk about it as well. What is the future if you can't afford to buy a home when home prices are so huge? What is it to have to struggle at a job that is physically arduous, that is minimum wage? How do you carve out your space in the world? These are kinds of questions that every young person is going to be going through. And specifically now, I think with the recession that hit, there were economic concerns. I had lost my job as well. So I was suddenly without work. He had been teaching university, but then he also had lost his job. And he was very, very stubborn. I think he really wanted to have a job that was nourishing for his soul, his mind and spirit. And it would be hard for him to do anything but. So finding that particular thing was very challenging for him. And he was very, as you can see, a very thoughtful person. He had been experiencing anxiety. I was away in Vancouver and he texted me and said that he had made up his mind that he wanted to go to a drop-in clinic to try to see if he could get medication for his anxiety. Within a 20-minute diagnosis with doctors who had never met him, nor did they know his history, he was prescribed a potpourri of drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, and he had a very difficult and extremely painful response to one of them. Now, I understand so many people's lives are made better with medication. You know, some people can take those exact ones and be fine and better. I just know that with Adam, his brain chemistry was different. He had a different kind of way of seeing the world, and he was very vulnerable to these powerful medications, and he ended up having a very strong and painful and difficult response to them. I mean, I just don't think that there was very much communication between the doctors. So from the clinic to another doctor, they hadn't talked to each other. And then there was, he was put on a different set that the first one didn't want him on. And, you know, he only ever believed in the doctors. And he came to feel that the meds that he was taking, they were causing him more distress, piquing his anxiety and sleeplessness more, also addictive. So it was very hard. He was in the throes of a very painful dependency on drugs that were really scrambling his mind. And this I learned through piecing together his medical timeline after he passed. I had not the understanding of the extreme place, because he tended to, you know, I think he didn't want me to worry, and he knew that I could worry, and he kept the extent of his private pain. But then as I was able to look through his notes and looking at our texts together, and then his friends shared correspondence with me, I was able to piece this together. And I ended up putting together like a 40-page document with big questions, because I had some very big questions about what had happened. And I felt that he had really fallen through the cracks in our medical health system. But everything that had been done was within a legal parameter. And basically they just suggested that doctors should take better notes, they should talk to each other, etc. Nothing substantial. And one of my suicide counselors had said, Sook-Yin, I know you're doing this, but don't expect a lot. You know, there have been grievous cases of mishandling and nothing happens. And so I went through the process so that at least the doctors were involved would know, hopefully alter their practices. I'll know the profound strength of some of these drugs. Take time with their patients, take time to find the right drugs to enhance your life. And they don't come immediately. So it takes a little bit of time, being really aware of how things are affecting you. Also people, friends and family, myself, I regret terribly. I wish I had heard Adam better. You know, many times I would be like, you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I was more like a cheerleader. And so I feel, you know, especially now when so many of us are very, very vulnerable, to be able to hear each other, to be able to express, to know that you don't have to do exactly what your doctor says, that you can advocate for others and yourself. Just knowing that you have a space in this arena of care. So yes, when Adam passed, he had been very, very convoluted. He wasn't in his right space. He was in a tremendous amount of pain. He had not slept for 11 days. These are difficult things to bring up, but I think it's important to understand. Yeah, I wish everyone well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
How does it feel having the album out now? The album that you made with him?
I'm so happy. I was just emailing with Alia O'Brien. She's a fantastic musician. She and I were speaking about music, and she was like saying, "Oh, I love your work. I'm so happy that Adam's and your work is out there." And I was like, "Yeah, we're just so lucky to be able to be musicians." I do feel that to be able to make music, I think that sound contains vibrational frequency. It contains energy, and I feel that Adam exists in his work, in his writing, and his music, and in our music together. He lives through his good work, and so that makes me very, very happy that it's out there.
Great.
So I want to just end with a couple of poems by Adam. The first poem is a poem. I was making a movie called Year of the Carnivore, and I saw a poem that he had written, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Do you mind if I use it in the movie?" And he said, "Of course." And so the most emotional moment in Year of the Carnivore, the main protagonist, Eugene, the character Eugene, is thinking about his mother, and similarly to Adam, his mother had passed and was a poet. And so this was one of the poems in the movie by his mom, but in fact written by Adam. And it's very, very beautiful. There must have been one expression I've used that you've liked. Okay, maybe not liked. There must have been one moment, just one, which you've liked that I've been a part in. I'm not asking you to make a claim for me. I wouldn't do that. But I'm asking you to trust me. That's it. Trust. This requires nearness. Yes, you. Come close. We talk or have spoken before. We intend to. You aren't close enough yet. It needs to be nearer. I need it. I can't tolerate this distance. It's unbearable. It can't be helped, I know. But still, you could do something about it. Make something happen. And if you decide to, yes, in fact, make it happen, then do it now.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful moment of like seizing that moment, not stifling yourself for another time, but connecting in the moment that you wish to. And in that moment, it's a moment that the main character, Eugene and Sammy, are both going through their travails in life separately. And that's the moment where they go, I'm going to do it. This last poem by Adam was in his notes. I'm going to ask Emma to bring it up so that you can read along as well. I feel like I would prefer to have his voice reading them, but I'll try my best. Saying goodbye to opinions, hello to feelings, goodbye to feelings, hello to grievings, hello to greetings, goodbye to meetings, farewell to teethings, hello to teethings, goodbye to pleasing, hello to pleasing, hell of a sweet thing, hell of a sweet thing, heavenly beating, devilish seething, desiring, needing, goodbye to needing, wanting and waiting, hello to making, hello to great things, goodbye to awful, eyeful, unthoughtful, hello to thinking and thinking without thinking, just being and letting being be, grieving be, even needing be, leaving needing there, nowhere there, never bare, always scared, making fine, fine, oh fine, I'll do the time, draw the line, make it mine, mine of mine, but theirs, always ours, beneath the boughs, here we are, all these scars, closing up, open wounds, open up, closing wounds, will be asking me, asking, is this so? Is this necessarily so? And I don't know, no idea, no. but I move to the place, that place, the place, and I make my space, my fine space. I take my place and I sit down and I don't move and I let it swirl and it dawns on me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank everybody for, this is long. How long have we been talking, Ryan? Oh
It's
my
been a
God.
while.
It's been hours. People are like,
It's
Yeah.
been great though. It's been really fun and really nice to get a peek into your creative process and Adam's creative process and how the album came together. It's been really nice.
I'm looking forward for you to hear some of these songs. I mean, I wish Adam was here with me to be able to perform them for you, but alas, he is kind of here. He is sort of here. We're going to reset. I'll be back in mere moments. I'll be in upstairs in another part of the house, and thank you so very much. We're going to take a few seconds here, and then boom.
It's the auditorium.
So here goes nothing.
See you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Hello and welcome to yet another space in my home. This is the area that Adam and I recorded our music. He'd be here with his instruments. I was over here at the computer, and a wall full of photos of our friends and family and ancestors. There's Malka Lidovitz, there's Adam, my sister Dee Dee, Oscar, my cat. So many wonderful people in my life surrounding us tonight. This space isn't usually so moodily lit, but I figured I'd enhance it for this launch of Juge 2, Adam and my album. I'm going to be playing some music from our first album and the latest album, about 20 minutes altogether. This is from our first album. Suicide of unknown life, a magnitude that shoves and hides, befriended by a solitary marching band, continues with their rules. You're a wild creature, impossible to tame, breaking chairs, unrolling beds. Chase away, chase away, chase away, chase away. No more games. No more refrains. No more sustains. They'll stay the same, but you will always change. You change.
you were gone without a trace. All your things at my place. In the museum of us, you think I'm strong, but I'm not so tough. A thing of beauty blossomed and died, but it's worse, I'm still alive. No fear. Let go, everything upended in a flash. Where do I begin to start all over again? Pitch black joke, you don't love me no more. It's hard to believe, how can it be true? I really don't want to have to cauterize a wound and kill my love I have for you. Make all wrong, our days are forlorn. To be my love for a maker ends all wrong. She can know my light, how it is around. She can know my life, she made me around. To become alone and to know I, all that in me died, it barely belonged. To the end of trying to hang on forever. Do you know the ways, all the ways I love you? I could fall for someone new and erase my memories of you, but I won't. No fear, let go. I love you. No fear. I'm going to sing a song from our first album. It's a bit of can-lit for you. Adam was a man of words, a lover of words, and so was Mordecai. Hating is wise in a passage of time. Do you crumble naked? Control all your feelings. I wanted to call, but the door wouldn't open. I looked out the window and smashed on a turnstile into LA. Out of your mind, find the last thought, make it count. Rise with your eyes closed, cover the sign, obscure all the details, disappear in an instant. I saw your name etched on a book you inscribed. You wrote deep, you wrote long, but they don't read and they don't care. I know my love. Do you lie? It's about repose, Mordecai Richler appears in a dream. Talked about that time I stopped him on the street. His autograph written right there on his spine. He's up there in heaven with his mom at his side, beauteous. On the right path, in the wayward, all right. Oh, and there's fine by degrees, and beauty lasts. Fading. your spirit below, and your doubting mind loves our like would devalue. Shear the wrecking height, and the May will behold. A long time ago, in a golden tomorrow, I'll find a new me in the wait and the wonder. A long time ago, in the golden tomorrow, I'll find a new me in the wait and the wonder. I will see through what I did do, though you do not want it. I will see through what I did do, though you do not want it. To the wrecking height, to the wrecking height. I'm gonna walk like a banker, on eagles right across Selilwitulh. I'm gonna beg your dollar, let it all of the ones that want it once. Oh, how can I remember Silicon Valley? I'm gonna beg your maker, oh, on the street on the valley. Oh, this is getting crazy. Should never kick your battles in town still. Okay, so this is the last song. There's a beautiful rose that grows in my backyard. It comes up every year, more beautiful than the previous year. This rose is Adam. Thank you for being here with me. This is a song from our first album. It's called Ghost of Love. live on the ocean, on a bridge of fire, wait under the water. Marigold, 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 marigold. Reach your try to touch you. I see you so clear, disappear completely. Are you even there? And as luck would have it, I hear you call my name out into the garden, under shade of moonlight. Marigold, 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 marigold. Marigold, 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 marigold. All our mistakes went to my head. Rain all day long, sea swells instead. Buried in the garden, under shade of moonlight, heartbeat burning brightly in an unexpected way. Marigold, 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 marigold. Marigold, 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 marigold. Aha. Thank you.